Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming into our community meeting. My name is Cleanne Brewer, and I am the Durham Elementary Principal for this year. I want to get started with a couple of pointers for today's meeting. If you have questions, please type your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen so that we may have somebody respond to your questions as I present. I also want to say thank you for joining today's meeting so early in the morning. Our meeting was originally scheduled for the evening, but then had to be moved to the morning because of other affinity group meetings in the evening. So I just appreciate your flexibility. I know that it can sometimes be difficult to make these meetings in the day because of work schedules, and I appreciate you being here. The good news is that this is being recorded. So for those who are not able to show up in this meeting today, we can share out the footage. So our families and our Durham Roadrunners can watch this video when it works best for their family. If you know anybody that is having a hard time accessing this Zoom meeting right now, you can also tell them to tune into youtube.ttsdschools.org because this video is being streamed live. So that may be another option for those that may not have Zoom. Also, if you would like Spanish translation, if you refer down to the bottom of the screen, there's going to be a globe and it says interpretation. If you click on that globe and you mute the original version in English, you should be able to hear this presentation in Spanish live. Thank you.
Clean, can I say that in Spanish?
Yes. Sure.
Si quieren escuchar esta presentación, nada más tienes que empujar el botón abajo de la pantalla. Hay un globo que dice interpretación. Selecciona esta y también a español y se puede escuchar todo esto en español. Gracias.
Thank you, Rochelle. Next slide, please. Our agenda today includes a little bit about me. Because I am new to the community, I thought it was important to share some of my visions and my goals and some of the things that drive the work that I do. Meeting our support team, I thought that was very important. So you could see how many people in Durham Elementary that support your children. We're here, we care, we love you, and we want you to feel well connected and supported. A couple of tips about kicking off the school year with success, some information about social and emotional learning, our literacy program, our English language development program, our special education program, and then a thank you for attending today's meeting. Next slide, please. I wanted to spend a little bit of time today just highlighting a little bit about my journey and how I got here and why I find passion in the work working with children and families, especially in an elementary building. So I started my journey as a child and family studies major at Portland State University, and then went on to get a master's degree in special education. After I got my special education master's degree, I was a teacher at Durham for, I think, around 7 years. So coming back to Durham has incredible value to me because I feel like it's my home. I believe 15 out of the 22 teachers that are teaching at Durham are teachers that I worked with when I worked at Durham over 10 years ago. So I feel so blessed and so honored to be back in Tigard-Tualatin and to be with my family at Durham. So I'm very excited to be here. Something I'm really, really proud of in my life is I'm a world traveler. So I've been to 38 countries around the world. And that travel experience was really me putting a backpack on my back, packing up whatever I had, and getting on an airplane and just going. So it wasn't done on cruise ships or tours. It was me just being out in the world kind of by myself, exploring communities. I think one of my most favorite treks and journeys was to Africa. So backpacking and camping from Rwanda all the way down to South Africa for 6 months. I've also spent some time in Ecuador and Peru. I've been to Japan a couple of times, East Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and then to almost all of the countries in Europe. I think that my perspective from travel has really opened up my eyes to listening and understanding diverse perspectives in our communities and leaning into the work and learning more on behalf of our students and their success at Durham. I've served as not only a special education teacher, but also an instructional and behavior coach in David Douglas School District, which is one of the most diverse school districts in the state of Oregon. And then I have recently spent 6 years serving as an assistant principal in Portland Public at multiple levels, middle school, K-8, and K-5. Next slide, please. I really wanted to highlight some of my core values and what I bring to Durham Elementary as the principal. So if you look at the top of the screen, you'll notice that there's a picture of the tilt-a-whirl, I believe at Seaside, with my husband and my 15-year-old stepdaughter. And the reason why I inserted this picture is because I believe in the importance, first and foremost, in family. So my family is my world. Everything I dream, everything I do, everything that I strive for is really keeping in mind my 15-year-old stepdaughter and my husband, and making sure that we are all working together in our community and in our relationships, in building each other up and finding our dreams and hopes together. And I believe that family is such an integral part to being in a community. So I would love to open the dialogue to students and families to help me learn more about what are your dreams, what are your hopes, and how can I be a partner in that work? Because if we are not teaming together, we may not achieve the dreams that that we believe are the priority. So I'm here to support that and really believe in those family connections. I also believe in early childhood education. So I was really excited to hear that Durham has a Head Start program that is housed in one of our classrooms in the building. So my goal this year is to team with the early childhood program through Head Start to really meet the young children and their families so that we can really start bridging relationships before kids and families enter into kindergarten at Durham. I believe that early childhood, the students and families that experience those programs are really set up for success and come into kindergarten with readiness skills that help all children achieve and progress socially and emotionally when they've been exposed to classroom settings and literacy and math skills before kindergarten. So I look forward to doing that work and learning about families that may want more information about our preschool program and how to access those resources. I also believe that social and emotional skill building is just as important as academic achievement. So, especially now that we are living in a pandemic, it is increasingly more important to slow down a little bit and to have conversations about what's happening in the world, how we are impacted, how we are feeling, and to just put some questions out there to provide safe spaces to have conversation and to really know that together we are in it as a family and we love each other and we will care for each other and we will support each other through everything we go through in this upcoming year. I also believe that when we open up those opportunities for social and emotional learning, we are also opening up opportunity for achievement because when we are feeling happy and healthy and cared for, we do better academically. I believe in a growth mindset. So for me, I'm always looking for the positive in everything. So even in this pandemic, even going through transitioning in as a new principal to an elementary in a new district for me, I have really tried to stay focused on what are the positive outcomes of this experience and what can I gain from it? So I am learning how to be flexible, how to be resilient, how to be open minded about other diverse perspectives, and how we can best serve our community and our students that are feeding into Durham Elementary. So I'm always looking for those opportunities for growth and looking at the perspective of we're going to take difficult situations and make them the best we can together. Lastly, I want to say that I celebrate diversity and inclusion and believe that all students, regardless of their background, their race, their cultural identity, their religion, their uh, identity, is what makes them special and unique. And we celebrate all of those factors when every child and every family enters our Durham community. And I look forward to learning more about the individuals in Durham and what I can learn from and grow from as I begin to build relationships. Next slide, please. My vision for this school year and probably future school years is to create a culture of community. I've been spending the past month building relationships with staff, families, and other community partners to create opportunities where we can look at what is happening at Durham right now, what is working, and what might we need to look at to improve the systems that have been put in place. I'm also spending time to understand better the barriers and opportunities in place to support our students' safety, social emotional well-being, and academic excellence, and doing that work with teachers and families alike. And then I've also been participating in community and staff meetings to get more information about what families, students, and teachers are saying they need as far as connection to resources. I also want to continue to create a culture of excellence at Durham. So I have been participating in district provided professional growth opportunities, learning about our new virtual curriculum and what that means for our Durham Roadrunners, as well as starting to look at our student achievement to engage in dialogue with our teachers about how we're going to move the work forward so our students are engaged in their education and continue to make strides academically as we progress through the school year. And then I want to also look at creating a culture of growth. So growth mindset, remaining resilient and flexible always. Looking at the areas of focus for staff professional development so that we can support the success for all students, regardless of their background, circumstance, race, class, or affiliation. And then helping to support teams in goal setting, where we're implementing plans. We're looking at our plans after we've implemented them with students. We're talking about how did what we plan to do work? How did it serve students? How did it not serve students? What can we do to do things different or better? And then making a new goal and moving forward in the work. Next slide, please. As far as family connections go right now, you can expect to see a weekly newsletter that is called the Roadrunner Review. It is sent out on Fridays. I've just sent out 2 so far, so you'll get your 3rd Roadrunner Review this Friday. That newsletter includes important information that is coming up, so I encourage you to review those as they come out. I will also be in attendance at our parent-teacher organization meetings, which will, for right now, be virtual, to really listen into community perspective, to team with the organization to figure out resources for the school, and how we can jumpstart this new school year coming together as a community. My email is also posted here. You can always feel free to email me or call me. I always like to interact with families, so please don't feel hesitant to reach out, and I will do my best to respond within 24 hours to hopefully address any of your concerns or questions or anything that you need to discuss. Next slide, please. So I would like to do some introductions now. This is me. I'm your school principal. My name is Cleanne Brewer. Nice to meet you. Next slide, please. This is our secretarial staff in the main office this year. We have Miss Debbie, Miss Raquel, and Miss Tamra. Raquel and Tamra are new to the office secretary positions this year. They are both bilingual and they have served as instructional assistants. Raquel in the reading program and Tamara in the ELD program. So we have the benefit of having them in our main office now as secretaries. Next slide, please. Our school psychologist and counselor is Tiffany Russell. And we are so excited to announce that we have been able to hire a full-time family partnership advocate. Her name is Rochelle Perez. She is bilingual. She used to be, or is still, a Roadrunner. So we are so excited to welcome her back to Durham and look forward to the work that she will do with our students and families and teachers this upcoming year. Next slide, please. Next, we have our literacy specialist, Lisa Murphy. Lisa will be heading up our Title I reading program and looking at interventions for students, as well as teaming with me to look at how we can best support teachers moving forward in the work they do with students related to reading achievement and academic success. We also have our English Language Development Department, Amber Duncan, as well as Miss Katie Topple. They served in these roles last year, so are not new to us, but I look forward to learning more about the ELD program and how it will operate and function this year as we are virtual. Next slide, please. We also have our special education team. We have Miss Camille Mack, who is new this year to Durham Elementary as a special education teacher. We are very excited to hear more about Camille and all of the skills and knowledge she may bring to our Durham community. And we have Miss Lori Davala, who has served in this position at Durham for a number of years. Next slide, please. I wanted to share with you the daily schedule that has been posted across the district for elementary students. Our days will include class meetings with social emotional learning, a literacy block with teacher instruction, and then a small group and work time for students, a math block with small group and work time for students, a lunch break, content time to include writing, social studies, and science. And then the afternoons will be dedicated to interventions, specials, or English language development. Next slide, please. As we begin to think about school starting mid-September, I wanted to offer a couple of ideas to get kids ready for the startup of school, even though we're virtual. What I've done at my house for my stepdaughter is I have set up a learning space for her. So I didn't have a desk or a table, but I did have a little space that I could set up where she could put her computer. We were able to get her school supplies organized in a pencil box or pencil pouch next to her computer, and everything kind of stayed in the same area so that when we have started creating our routines in trying to get back on a school schedule, we know that all of the school supplies are in a predictable location that is accessible easily, and that feels like school. So we even decorated her area with a little some posters and some things that she felt more connected to the virtual classroom experience. We've also started setting an alarm, getting up earlier than what we have been through March and this summer. We've started to have more routines in doing a little bit of morning work, eating lunch together, doing a little bit more practice work, and then having nightly routines, sitting down as a family, eating, taking some downtime, and then establishing a bedtime routine that has really helped our family in the alarm clock that's going off earlier in the morning than what we've been used to in the past. So I would highly encourage you starting those routines with your children now, so that when we are going into the school year, mid-September, it's just natural to them and it doesn't seem any different than what they've already been practicing. I would also say that it's important to start connecting with the virtual learning topics that are coming out across the district on our YouTube channel and in community meetings related to Canvas, which is the platform that we will be using to post assignments and to do work, in addition to our online curriculum, which is called Florida Virtual. I believe that there are upcoming technology trainings and trainings for families related to Canvas and Florida Virtual. So please look at the district website for invitations to those events so that you as a family can feel comfortable navigating those resources on a computer, and also know that part of my plan is to have some sessions Durham specific that we could provide some coaching and support should you have any questions or concerns, or just need a little help understanding how to navigate the virtual world. Next slide, please. I wanted to take a moment to discuss the first week of school. So the first school day is September 14th. And what you can expect on the first 3 days of school, the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th, is the class meeting. So early in the morning, the class meeting where teachers gather everybody together virtually to have a check-in and to build relationships. And then you can expect teachers to reach out to you individually through a virtual conversation or a phone conversation to really check in on what resources you may need as a family, to learn more about your family, and to build relationships so that we can start learning together this year in helping our kids succeed and figure out what your family needs to feel successful. So you can expect that the first 3 days of school will be what I consider a soft start, where we will start with that social emotional check-in and class meeting, and then we will have teachers reaching out to you personally. Next slide, please. I wanted to give you a little information about school supplies. I know that school supply shopping right now, things are on sale. And so I've had a couple of families ask about what should I be getting for my student so that they have the proper school supplies. So the first thing I wanted to start out with is that I feel so blessed because we have a local business that has sponsored Durham Elementary to provide us little cinch school bags that we are going to fill with basic school supplies for 100% of our Durham community. So if school supplies is something that stresses you out, I want you to know that we are here and we will provide basic school supply bags for all of our students and families, which I think is very exciting. And I am so thankful to the local organization that is helping me really jumpstart the school supply drive. If you want to buy your own supplies in addition to what we are going to provide, I put in this presentation a kindergarten and first grade student supply recommendation that our classroom teachers recommended. The supplies include pencils, a pencil sharpener, a supply box, crayons, markers, glue sticks, scissors, and dry erase markers. The second to fifth grade student supplies are pretty much the same, except the teams added 2 to 3 spiral notebooks for students to be able to take notes. In addition to our basic school supply bags, which will include things like pencils and a pencil sharpener, crayons, markers, and those kind of things, I have also been able to purchase dry erase marker boards for every student in the building. So you can also expect to have that with your bags when we are sending them out for pickup, so that all students have access to a whiteboard to be able to easily practice newly learned skills with their teachers in the classroom setting. If you are needing extra supplies or extra support, please don't hesitate to reach out to our school counselor, Tiffany Russell, or our family partnership advocate, Rochelle Perez. and also your classroom teacher. We are here to help provide support. We are here to problem solve with you and team with you. So just let us know what you need, and we will make sure that we are able to find a solution. Next slide, please. I've had a lot of inquiries about what about iPads for kindergartners and what about iPads for new students? So I have teamed with our kindergarten team to identify an iPad pickup day for kindergarten or any new student. The iPad pickup day will be September 9th. We have a couple of options here. From 12 to 4, you can call the main office and we will bring the technology to your car. Our phone number is 503-431-4500. From 4 to 6 p.m., we will do curbside pickup. So we will be out there with a cart ready to go. We will hand you the technology that you need so that it's easy, grab and go, so we can get through all of our kindergarten and new students as quickly as possible to maintain social distancing while also saying hi and welcome to Durham as a Roadrunner. Next slide, please. Miss Tiffany, you're on.
Hello, I am Tiffany Russell. I am a school psychologist, school counselor at Durham. So to those of you returning, hello, it's great to see you. And to those that are new, welcome to Durham. So I'm going to just talk briefly about what social emotional learning is going to look like this fall in the virtual environment. And this is going to be done in several different ways. Some of you are familiar with PACS. That is our whole school behavior, social emotional learning system. And PACS stands for Peace, Productivity, Health, and Happiness. And the PACS system is something that all our Durham teachers are trained in, and we use it school-wide. So whether your child's a kindergartner or a fifth grader, they're going to get that same PACS language. A big part of PACS is creating a vision board for setting the tone and the health of the classroom. So the teachers will be doing that with their students in morning meetings or class meetings in every grade level. The children and students help come up with those ideas of what they want their classroom to look like so that there's buy-in and then that they can really take responsibility for the way their classrooms are run. There's also during class meetings going to be a lot of opportunity for the social skill building activities, whether that's a game that the teacher is going to facilitate or whether it's kind of breaking up into smaller groups to chat about what they did for the weekend or what they had for dinner, things like that. So we still are placing a lot of importance on children having time to have social time with peers, even though we are not in the physical classroom. Just like Cleanne said in the beginning, social emotional learning is just as important as academic, and we can't really separate the two. It's part of the whole child. So we really want to put a big focus on the social emotional learning, even though we are not physically in school. Part of the way that teachers are going to have access to social emotional learning opportunities for their students is our Tier 1 team. That is a team of several teachers that work at the district level. And over the summer, they have come up with amazing social emotional learning lessons and put them kind of in a virtual toolbox for teachers to use as needed. So not all classes are going to have the same need. Maybe there's a class that's having an issue with teasing. So they're going to pick out that, that lesson and use it with their class. Another curriculum we use for our whole school is Second Steps, and that covers topics like self-awareness, self-management, relationship building, and social awareness. Our district equity team has created anti-bias lessons for all our elementary students, and all elementary students will receive those lessons over the year. That's one of our core values at TTSD, so that's something we really felt important to include even in the virtual environment. And then so that's kind of things we do for the whole school, and all classrooms will have opportunities for. And then I am here if there is a more specific need that is just happening in your home or with your student. I am always here for those individual needs as well. Next slide, please. So my job as a school psychologist and counselor at Durham is to support your student and your family with their social, emotional, and behavioral needs. That in the virtual environment can look like individual or small groups with me to focus on those targeted skills that I kind of just mentioned. I can come alongside your family. I work with teachers to for a partnership to support behavior within the virtual classroom and at home. I can connect your family to outside counseling or therapy services as needed if there is an issue that arises that's more than a school-based problem and we need to work a little bit deeper. We have a team called Care Coordination at TTSD, and they are a group of mental health professionals that come alongside families and help them find mental health support when needed. And then I also work with our special education team and do evaluations and assessments for students with disabilities. Another big part of my job and a really fun part is connecting our families with basic needs, things that they need. And that can be anything from food, shelter, internet, maybe just a pep talk. So those things are very individualized, and confidentiality is always a big part of that. So if you reach out for help, please know that it will be kept confidential. We don't share lists of names with any other organization, and you can feel confident knowing your information will be kept private. And then just at the end, there's a way to connect with me. You can always email me or call me. I'm hoping to have a text phone number available next week so that families can text if that's easier. So I look forward to meeting your students in the virtual environment, and please feel free to reach out at any time.
Next slide, please. Miss Lisa Murphy.
Hello, everybody. I miss those little faces so much. I can't wait to connect again virtually in a couple of weeks, but I miss them. I'm the literacy specialist and the Title I coordinator at Durham, and you might have seen me out at the crosswalk when I greet your kids as they're walking in or riding the bus in or in your cars. Or you've seen me at PAX Wheel Wednesday. Also, I've been coordinating the One School, One Book that we've done at the school. We did one over the spring when we were virtual, the Terrible Two. And hopefully we can coordinate something like that again this school year, because that was a lot of fun. The slide here just kind of shows some of the early literacy foundations. I mean, these are just things that you can kind of look at that we're going to be supporting your children with virtually for the beginning of the school year for sure. Title I funds are determined kind of by our free and reduced lunch count. 7 of the 9 elementary schools in the Tigard-Tualatin school district qualify as Title I schools. And we will still be asking families to fill out the paperwork for free and reduced lunch, as that will determine our funding for next year. And that will be done virtually. I mean, there will be more information coming on that. But also a big part of my job is I do reading interventions for students that are struggling with reading or need reading support. And we run small group reading interventions. We're going to likely be running some small group or individual reading interventions this fall. So if your student was receiving Title I services last year, I mean, we're going to do some sort of assessment and figure that out and determine who could use some extra reading support with that this fall. Stay tuned on that as well. I mean, I think we're going to get everybody settled in, and then we can start looking at some of that support. And I also will be supporting our classroom teachers with this new reading, the Florida Virtual, with the reading components of that as well, to make sure that we are getting our students to learn as much as they can in the fall. We want them to be fluent readers. We want them to get the love of reading because they can read. Next slide, please. And then I'm just gonna emphasize this so much. Please, please, I mean, in this, over the summer here and as we move into the fall, have your students read to your students. I mean, this is going to be really critical that we are still having opportunities for students to read and build those literacy skills. So I can't emphasize that enough. If you need some ideas or you have questions about it, feel free to email me or give me a call and I will help you access some literature if you need to, or point you in the right direction, answer questions. So I look forward to connecting with all of you coming up here in the next few weeks. I miss you. I'll talk to you soon. Next slide.
Miss Amber Duncan.
Hi, I'm one of the English as a second language teachers at Durham. English language development is a program for students who are learning English as a second language. We work on developing proficiency in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. We have many different methods to teach in ELD. We use co-teaching, which is where we go into the classroom with the homeroom teacher and we teach part of the time to all of the kids. We collaborate with classroom teachers, which is kind of behind the scenes, and you don't really see that, but we're planning with the homeroom teachers to make sure lessons are appropriate for kids learning English. Sometimes we work in small groups, and sometimes we work just one-on-one if there's a newcomer or someone who needs that help. We don't really know for sure what everything's going to look like next year. It probably will not look the same for everyone. But no matter what it looks like, we are excited to have the kids back and we can't wait to see them. Next slide, please.
And Miss Camille Mack.
Hi, I'm Camille Mack. I'm one of the learning specialists here at Durham. I'm excited to be here. So for this year, the case manager, so Lori or myself, will be reaching out to families to connect with them and really individualize and discuss a plan that fits every family's needs. And we are going to make sure that all of those IEP needs are met. We'll be implementing IEPs in collaboration with the classroom teachers as well. So working very closely with all the classroom teachers to see what they're doing and how we can be there to support our students in that environment. Along with that, Lori or myself or some of our learning specialist assistants might be in some of those classroom sessions to help provide support, or we might be scheduling individual times to meet with students. But we will be contacting everyone when we also have some more information too, as the school year gets started.
Next slide, please. I wanted to take a moment to recognize our parent support organization at Durham. Our president is Tristan Irvin, Vice President Antoinette Olivas, Secretary Annie Reynolds, and Treasurer Lynn Lee Yee. This year, we will be having virtual meetings. We are working together to establish dates and times for those meetings, and I will let you know when that comes out. Their email is durhampso@gmail.com. In addition, there's a Facebook page. It's Durham Elementary PSO. So if you would like some information and getting connected with them, please look at their Facebook page and ask to be in that group. I find it very helpful. Next slide, please. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me your time today, for allowing us to do brief introductions, a welcome back, and just to say hi. We're excited to be here. We look forward to the upcoming weeks. And please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us should you need anything at all. We are here for you, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you for the meeting today, and we will talk soon.